So maybe you're considering going no contact with an avoidant partner, somebody you're dating, potentially your ex, and you're thinking that this would be a really good strategy to win the person back because you hear that no contact works so well. And while no contact is very effective at often making an avoidant second guess their decisions or their desire to pull away, there is a right and a wrong way to actually do no contact. And if you don't do this format of no contact correctly, it could completely affect your own self-esteem, but could also affect your potential future with this person. So what is it that makes no contact so effective when dealing with an avoidant? And how can we take 3 key takeaways from this video so that you can thrive during no contact and have all of the benefits both for yourself and for the potential future of the relationship? Well, in today's video, we're going to cover exactly that. And these 3 things may really surprise you. If you're new to this channel, my name is Gibson. I have been working in the field of dating, relationships, attachment theory for more than a decade. And if you're not familiar with the 4 attachment styles, they're basically your love or relationship style. I'll put a little description down below in the description box if you want to read more about it. If you aren't familiar, we're going to pretty much dive right in here. So here's the first thing that's really important. If you don't understand the relationship between yourself and no contact, it's going to get really dicey. So the very first purpose of no contact is to focus on you and your healing. That truly is the intention of no contact. Yes, if you go no contact, people often, second guess their decisions for sure. And we're going to talk about why and all that good stuff. But I just want to highlight that doing no contact correctly, literally at a high level, is going, I'm taking the time to literally create intense emotional boundaries and physical boundaries around myself away from this person so that I can focus on my own healing. And that means, no contact truly means I do not look at their social media. I do not engage in their social media. I don't post hearts or comments or watch their stories or anything like that. I do not engage. I don't ask their friends about them. If I know that their friends are going to tell them that I asked, like literally nothing. I keep myself away from this person. That is the most important thing. And yes, it is painful. It's difficult at first, don't get me wrong. But what it does is after you go through that initial kind of withdrawal phase from that person, especially if there was a lot of intermittent reinforcement, hot and cold behavior, on and off kind of patterns, you're almost going to go through like a drug withdrawal. Like, of course, it's not going to be as physiologically intensive, but you're going to go through this period of withdrawing from them. Like, you're going to actually go through this experience of like, oh, I miss them. It stings. And as time goes on day by day, it's going to get easier and easier. Now, it doesn't mean you just go on with your life and start dating somebody new. It doesn't mean that you just, look at their social media pictures from afar, from a fake account where they can't see you. No, it doesn't mean any of that. It means that during your no contact window, and I'll tell you what that window is in point number 2 here in just a moment, what that window is with the dismissive avoidant. What it means you do is during your no contact window, you literally do the work to heal. Okay. And what does the work look like to heal? It means meeting your own needs. Look at the needs that that person was meeting and learning to meet your own needs, because that is one of the key fundamental pillars to learning to self-soothe. It means reestablishing your boundaries in your life, looking at what you want to come up next in your life, your sort of mission and vision for the next season of life. Being able to do core wound work, I think, is one of the most important parts of healing. Regulate your nervous system. There's so many important things that you can do. I will say on a quick side note here before I tell you the next 2 points that I think are literally non-negotiably important for no contact. If you do want to go in and do deeper healing, we have a 14-day free trial right now. There's a course for nervous system regulation. There's a course for rewiring painful core wounds, like your triggers and fears in relationships, so they don't keep coming back up. There's a shadow work course, like all these things for deep healing. If you want to go through that, you can check it out fully for free for 14 days. That will give you more than enough time to get at least through 2 courses fully for free, maybe even more. And my hope is that you freaking love the platform and you're obsessed with PDS, because there's lots of great support and people in there, and that maybe you stick around, but check it out if you want to for free. And it's just a limited time. We do this like once a year for 14 days. So now the next big thing here is and listen, you can decide what healing looks like, right? You don't have to come into PDS. You can work with a counselor. You can work with your therapist. You can do so many different things. But the point of no contact is that you do some sort of real work. Okay. That's the most important thing. Second thing is, after you do the no contact, focusing on your self-work, you want to keep a timeline. And actually, timelines are different for different people. One thing that is known is that sort of myth that like 30 days of no contact works for everybody. That's not really true. Generally, dismissive avoidants are incredible at repressing their emotions for more than 30 days. they won't even really feel no contact a lot of the time until like at least 6 weeks, sometimes a little bit longer. And if somebody's an extreme dismissive avoidant, like really, really dismissive avoidant, went through extreme emotional neglect growing up, you may see that's closer to 2.5, 3 months. So I find at least, 6 to 8 weeks for most dismissive avoidance is sort of being that sweet spot where then they like reconsider their decision. Fearful avoidance, it's at least, 3, 4 weeks, all the way up to 6 weeks. Anxious attachment styles feel the impact of no contact first. So they feel it fastest, they feel it earliest, but then they start reaching out to people and trying to lean on other people, and they get their needs met in different forms. So they actually kind of rebound after a relationship and heal sometimes more quickly than other attachment styles. Not always the case, but it can be. Now, point number 3 is, let's say you're like in it. You do the healing work, you're feeling like you're thriving, you're healing from the relationship, you're moving on, you're learning so much about yourself, you're regulating your nervous system, you're learning to self-soothe and meet your needs. You've rewired your core wounds. You feel like, oh my goodness, I'm becoming securely attached and I feel amazing. And you've been doing this work and you're really in it for like 6, 8 weeks. And then your ex reaches out. What happens next? Well, the most important thing you're going to do here is you are going to know your standards and your non-negotiables and your boundaries. And, I often say to people when they come into our webinars at PDS and like ask me questions, I often say to people, you're looking for the red to green flag balance or imbalance, right? So if I were going no contact, for example, in theory, with somebody who, tried hard in the relationship in certain ways, but just wasn't, giving me the certainty I was looking for, or wasn't able to like clearly, feel like the relationship was progressing. If I was like, okay, I'm in the gray area, I'm going no contact, I just need to take a step back, I don't see the progress that I'm looking for. And then if the person, as I'm like in, doing the work, all this stuff, if the person reached out to me and was like, hey, I completely regret my decision. I've been in therapy myself for the past 6 weeks, or I've been taking courses or reading books or whatever it is. I've done so much work on myself. I've really learned about what I did wrong. And I would love the chance to like talk with you, try to see if we can make this work again. Here's the things that I've worked on that I think would be different. If I had a long-standing relationship with that person, or I really cared about that person and had feelings, I would be like, okay, I'll give that a chance. It doesn't mean that I would be like jumping right back into a relationship. Let me be clear. I would give it a chance from the perspective of like, I'm going to vet you. I'm going to see you said all the right things. Now I'm going to watch your actions. And I would set a deadline. So maybe like for 4 weeks, does the person communicate differently? Are they showing up more vulnerably? And I would really evaluate that. And I would be looking to vet and see like they said all the right words. Do their behaviors match that? And if the answer was yes, I would let my guard down a little more at the end of that 4 weeks and invest myself a little bit more too. And if that continued, we would build momentum and maybe move back into some kind of relationship dynamic. But if somebody just reemerges and says, hey, how are you? Like sends a 1 or 2 word text or sends a meme or sends something like, I don't see any green flags. You left me with more red flags than green flags. So I might be like, hey, hope you're well, or be polite, but I'm not going to like reinvest in a relationship dynamic with somebody. So if somebody does reemerge after no contact, you need to be vetting for like, what are my standards? What are my non-negotiables? What are my boundaries? What is the red to green flag balance or imbalance here? Do I see all the right things? Okay, great. Somebody can say them. Do their actions line up with them? And if you're seeing that, great. But if somebody breaks no contact with you, or they're reaching out to you and they're just like, hey, how's it going? Or, oh, I was thinking of you. Okay, but like if the relationship wasn't healthy and moving along, I need a lot more than just like a nice text message to consider reinvesting in something. And so that's where we need to be looking at like how no contact works. And are we just using it as like a strategy to, pull away from somebody and make them miss us, not do the internal work, not have proper boundaries. And then because we get one nice text message from somebody, we're like reinvesting fully. No, we need to have a lot of intention, a lot of integrity in the relationship to ourselves for this, because that's ultimately going to be the very thing that gives you the dating outcomes and relationship outcomes that you deserve and that you're looking for. So if we want the things that we're looking for, we have to actually take the action and do the things that support that outcome. So those are my 3 big pieces for no contact. As I mentioned before, if you want to do a deeper dive into healing, you can check out our whole course platform fully for free, just for a limited time. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you for stopping by. Please like, share, and subscribe if you are enjoying this channel, and I'll see you in future videos.